Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Love Your Business Mom, where we give you hard lessons on surviving in business with the warmth and brutal honesty that only a mother can give. I am here with Rushali. She is a nutritionist. She specializes in a lot of really interesting topics. Can you hear my child screaming?
I love it.
Okay.
I'm
That
enjoying
threw
it.
me
I
off
love
so
kids.
much. Anyway, thank you. She is a nutritionist. We met on LinkedIn. I encountered her work. She gave me a really cool breakdown about my energy levels and following what she does for a while. And I just want to pick her brain about all things health and food and life. Feel free to introduce yourself to the people. If someone has never interacted with your work before, what would you want them to know about you?
So, as you said, I am a nutritionist. I'm an Indian and we love food.
Hmm.
We culturally have loads of varieties of food. So, I think that developed over the years, and when it got a time to decide what I really want to pursue in my life, nutrition came in picture and I fell in love with it.
That's amazing. So you've always loved food. Did you do any other career arcs?
I grew up watching my mother and grandmother cooking loads of food for our family, even on festivals or just family gatherings. I believe the idea to pursue something which is very unconventional, to be fair, being a nutritionist,
Yeah.
is not very commonly seen amongst people. When I
Hmm.
entered 10, I think it was 2015 when I
Hmm.
took an admission for my graduation. And even during that time, we were like 40 or 50 students in just one class. So you're very less and
Wow.
less people pursuing what we actually want. And when I went for my education, even I was clueless. That was a surprise for me. All aspects of food. We think that a food is just a tasty or delicious meal on your plate, but it involves a lot of food engineering, it involves food analysis, it involves food sensory appeal to that. So it's a lot of aspects that people not really focus on, and just it's just a meal. I hope that makes sense.
No, it's
Okay.
amazing. Honestly, one of the things that I really want to talk about on this episode, because we touch a lot about business
Mm.
subjects, right? Work in the world of productivity,
Mm.
automation, project management. Those spaces I find can be very unhealthy. They can encourage very
Mm.
unhealthy habits. When we first met, you had your really fun Google form that I filled out to answer.
Yeah.
One of the things you said is you're currently having 3 cups of coffee a day. It's in bold. It highlighted like why that's not helpful for my energy levels. I just appreciated that. So I would love to talk more about
Oh, thank you.
if you're a busy professional and you do have these stressful deadlines and you are doing a lot, what are the kind of habits you can have, the kind of food you can eat? What are the things you can do to stay well as best as you can?
First thing, definitely have your schedule in front of you. Do plan out how is your day going to
Hmm.
be. So if you're a professional who works from home, you have more flexibility around taking care of your meals. But if you're a professional who
Mm.
can commute to your office space, there is some limitation, but obviously you can find alternate options over there as well. First things, coffees is the great thing for everyone. Even I'm a coffee person. What
Hmm.
I have learned over the years that coffee is not a bad thing. Let's just say this as a fact.
Yes.
As a nutritionist, I can say everything in limitation is great for your body, but if you do it over, it could affect in a bad way. I myself learned, I think it was past couple of years that I got into more learning more about coffee because I'm a coffee person. I was having 4 or 5 cups a day. That was really bad. I thought, how can I make my coffee better? So first thing that came to me is that adding a good amount of fat in your first cup of coffee in the morning. So adding good fats
Okay.
to your coffee does help to stimulate your brain cells and start your day in a very energetic way. So if you're a person who needs like first sip of your coffee during like at the start of the day, adding good fats is a healthier way to have your coffee. Adding functional mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms or functional mushrooms are the upcoming health trends that many people are knowing more about it. So I started adding functional mushrooms to my coffees during the day. So lion's mane is one of the mushroom that I add, which is really great functional mushroom to boost your cognitive health, brain health, boost concentrations and focus, to be fair. So it's if I'm struggling to focus on my work during the day, like middle of the day, I would add a functional mushroom to my coffee, and it was just
Mm.
like in an hour I would feel that energy. But yes, these are the two things that you could start making your coffee healthier. At least having your major meals planned during the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snack if you are the person who wants to have snacks during the day to get your energy full. For me, I make sure that all my meals at least consist the adequate amount of protein that I need, because we
Okay.
our normal meals, if we see, it's more of carbohydrate or fats and fibers, but we sometimes forget about having the right amount of protein. So this is what I make sure.
Yeah.
Even my breakfast would include the adequate amount of protein that I need for myself. That is the second thing that we can focus on when planning out our meals. An ideal balanced meal would be having 40 to 50% of carbohydrate in your plate, having 30 to 40% is your protein, and then 10 to 20% of your healthy fats. Fiber would be 5 to 10% of the plate. So this is like an actual plate you can create yourself, having your lunch and dinner,
Yeah.
which are your major meals of the day. Skipping your meals is telling your body that you're starving, and that's not really great for your body. Like starvation is just drains you out of energy and start focus. Have your breakfast right, have your coffee in the morning, lead your day with a good balanced lunch which has adequate amount of protein and a second cup of coffee. Go towards having a
Yeah.
healthy snack like maybe a protein bar, energy bar, or maybe nuts, a good whole fruits, avoiding the fruit juices during this time. Having a whole fruit does really
Yeah.
help. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, and a good healthy dinner. And dinners with families and friends always just helps, to be fair. Like, we don't want to sit alone and eat our dinner. That is also something that I preach. Having meals with your family and friends does like holistically help you to lead like a healthier life.
I love that. I feel like the social aspect of nutrition is not talked about enough because, from my understanding and my experience, no matter what culture you're from, no matter how big or small your family is, food is togetherness. It's something that brings us
Yes.
together, it's something that we bond over. And I feel like when I have a meal with my husband and my kids, or with my auntie who's a chef, like when I have a
Wow.
meal with my mom, it's like we're bonding. I think it's interesting that you touched on that. So tell me more about your opinion on how to get creative with getting social with meals, because I feel like a lot of people, at least in today's world, are stuck at a desk eating. I feel like people are eating on the go, they're not eating. Any tips for getting more social, mindful eating in your life?
When I did my post graduation as an international student, I have my fair share of having meals alone because going to a new country and meeting new people and making friends does take time. But when you find those kind of people
Yeah.
around you, you try to gather around and find reasons to be with them. Food was one of that.
Yeah.
So for me, when I was a student, I was living in a dorms called university dorms.
Mhm.
So we had a common kitchen. We had a common space where students would come and cook their meals. This was the space for us to interact with everyone who was living there, because everyone has different schedules of their classes, they have different
Yeah.
jobs to go to, but kitchen was our common space where we used to come together, hang out, and speak more about it. So I think that started to build the friendships and the relations that we as a community or as students were looking for, because everyone was coming from different aspect of their life. They were international students, home
Yeah.
students, like everyone together.
Mhm.
But everyone has that kitchen space where they just come maybe on weekends or for dinners and cook meals. We were 8 to 10 people sharing our kitchen space. So we decided that once a month we would do like a potluck kind of a thing where everyone would be
Yeah.
cooking something from their culture or their favorite dishes and would bring together and will like share and that cozy time and get to know each other. Like different flavors, different ingredients that you see that your culture has different dishes, my culture would be very different. But when collectively we see, at the end of the day, it just
Yeah.
connects people in a very lovely way. So that started with me. I'm not a great person who cooks very delicious meals. I'm a nutritionist, but it's a task
Yeah.
for me to cook. But I've learned, and I have this one specific dish that I cook for everyone and they enjoy it. So now it's a ritual if I have my friends over. This is one of the reasons that I would like, okay, I'm cooking this, guys. Just come over. You'll have a tasty meal that I'm
Yeah.
cooking. So that's one of the reasons that we get together on some occasions, because adulting is difficult. Make after graduation you walk into your work culture and you're just distant from your families and friends. So I think this kind
Yeah.
of rituals, if you come across, if you make, then it just makes it easier to maintain those friendships and relations you had during your time at university. Yeah.
I love that. And I feel like whether it's with habits or with your nutritional adherence to what you know you should be doing, you mentioned something at the end that got me. It's the earlier and the more diligently you
Yes.
start, the easier it is in the long
Yes.
term. You went to school for nutrition. As you mentioned, it's a non traditional field. It's a little more difficult. There's not a super clear career path necessarily. How did you start early? How did you do the things you needed to do to have a successful career, to get clients, keep your education up? Because I know there's
Yeah.
probably always new science coming out that you have to keep up with. Tell us a little bit about how you manage those things so that if somebody was doing something similar, they could look to you for that.
I wouldn't say I had a success at the start. I've had failures, and those failures taught me things. When I was a student, being a nutritionist wasn't a career path where you have a job right away. You have to
Mm-hmm.
make your way into the industry, make yourself important, and tell that this is what I do and this is what an actual job of a nutritionist is. During my graduation, I was more into clinical nutritionist, becoming a dietitian, registered dietitian, working in hospitals. So I did experience that as well. But I think it didn't resonate with me in personally that okay, I did enjoy working as a clinical dietitian. I was an athlete, so that interest
Yeah.
got me into learning more about sports and exercise nutrition. I did my post
Oh,
graduation
cool.
in exercise nutrition and then got into working with athletes. Over time, you find your niche, your expertise, and then you give yourself into that specific specialization. Obviously, there is a space that you have to create yourself because it's a very vast community of dietitians and nutritionists. Everyone has their own personal interest, and now it's
Yeah.
becoming more versatile kind of an qualification. I started with clinical dietitian, then I became an exercise nutritionist, and now I'm learning and pivoting towards becoming a brain health nutritionist. So I think the 10, 12 years of my life, I didn't stick to that one thing that I started with because I believe that if I'm learning and upgrading myself to things that I genuinely want to work with, it helps me create that career path. Last year, in September 2020, started
Mm-hmm.
my own consultancy. This is my private practice. Before that, I was working with other dietitians and nutritionists and learned
Mm.
to now, after 4 or 5 years of experience, I was confident enough to take on my own clients and lead
Yeah.
my own consultancies. But I'm still learning, I'm still knowing through my clients that if there's one person who comes with different things, there's other client who comes with different things. So it's not just one thing that fits all. Everyone is
Yeah.
very different, individualistically creative and how they are. So for me, it's always a learning process, and I'm always open to learn. But definitely, I wouldn't say that it's a really like a rainbows and nice. You do have your failures, and
Yeah.
do anyone who is on this path, a nutritionist or dietitian who would be listening to this, I would say do not lose faith in yourself. Like, definitely do not. Have that belief, have that confidence, and just try to learn and learn more about what you really want to do rather than what others are trying to do. At the end of the day, you are the one who would be doing it for your clients. Find your specialization and niche, and you'll have a very great career.
I love that. And I feel like a lot of people who are building something new or disrupting an industry, I feel like many of us go through these pivots where it's I learned this, then I applied that here, then I transferred those skills to do this, and now that I have all these different experiences, here's my offer, here's what I do, here's
Yes.
why it helps
Yeah.
people. The belief and the faith in the outcomes that you're trying to accomplish, because I think that is so difficult for people. What do you lean on or rely on to keep that professional confidence when there are people being like, oh, you've switched, you've done different, this person has this experience. What do you do to stay confident or to be sure about these pivots that you're making?
It's scary. I would not lie. It is scary. I do get
Yeah.
fears. I do get underconfident. I do get a lot of self doubt. I've tried a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times to make this pivots. I think it's very normal. Every who goes through this would feel that this is normal, this is the way you grow. I built this system for myself that I journal a lot, I read also. To keep myself sane and not go through very
Yeah.
insane times, I journal and I read books that would guide me to this difficult phase. So
Yeah.
I think it comes from practice, it comes from self discipline that you can go through and be this confident. Even now, as I'm speaking to you, I do feel that I'm not at that level that other nutritionists or dietitians are in their career. But okay, I'm trying my best. I'm giving myself
Yeah.
credit of whatever I've done over the years and just being consistent with it. I do not feel that overnight success comes just like that. You have to be keeping doing the things like with consistently. Then only you build that self belief and confidence that whatever you're doing
Yeah.
is right and leading to the success you have desired.
I relate to that. And I think it's
Yeah.
funny because you describe yourself and you're like, I don't feel that I'm on that level. Because in any industry, there's always somebody
Yes.
doing better than you. How have they been doing this for 45 years?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. I think in the media, I think on even like social media, even in
Mm.
personal dynamics in regular life, it's so easy to get caught up. If you're not one of these two famous nutritionists, you're just nothing. Like you're not. And I think we lose a lot of value. I think we're losing a lot of knowledge by not platforming people like yourself who are actively building a career. They have a unique point of view. They still have knowledge,
Yeah.
but it's like in the society we've built, and I'm curious your thoughts on this in nutrition because I do think it affects the common advice people get. I feel like we often are, as a society, just, oh, these are the two people, like whatever they say,
Mm.
they're on every podcast doing every single thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like it codes and changes the advice given because they're the influences on the industry. I would love to know your thoughts, not just in the nutrition space, but do you feel like we're losing knowledge that way? Do you feel like there's things that we're not talking about because the big gurus aren't talking about?
I have two opinions on this. Social media is a great influence on people, and I myself has learned a lot through certain influencers and experts in
Yeah,
the field. So for
yeah,
me, I try to see things that would make sense to myself. For example, nutrition. I am not a social media person. I do not feel that I need to preach something for people to make it virality, I guess. I think many
mm-hmm.
there are few creators who does that. They would say, oh, if you eat this thing you'll have your weight loss done in 1 week. That is not right. Everyone's different. That might work for some but not for everyone. And I think people lose this understanding that if that
Yeah,
person achieved that because they have put on those work, that amount, that effort that they have done, and that's not what they're showing. They're just showing the end result.
yeah,
They're not showing the journey they've been through. So for people who see this on social media, they think that if this person has done it, I will do it in just 7 days. Yes, you can, but what are the outcomes of that? You do achieve the
yeah,
results, but what is the consistent thing that will affect your health? So for me, it's just that believing the things that you yourself would do for your like own self. Like you think that, oh, if this thing is going to help me in a longer term, then okay, I'll do it. But you as a person would believe in that instant results. Like I think people now just wants that instant results that doesn't require a lot of
mm-hmm.
time and effort. But health in general is not that. You have to give the time, you have to give that effort, you have to build that discipline over the days or the months or the years. And that would give you a longer, sustainable kind of health journey that you desire for yourself. So for me, I could not say that
Yeah,
at 16-year-old I had that body weight. I want it now when I'm 28. That's just something impossible to happen, and then only it would be. So do not set yourself impossible targets or goals for your health. Always be
yeah,
mindful about what's your current stage in life you are, what is your lifestyle
mm-hmm.
currently, and how you can be built in a very mindful way for your sustainable years. That is the thing I would say. Even for myself, influencers, yes, they're doing a good job, but find yourself the authentic and real influencers in health space who would give you the right advice.
Yeah.
And there are, it's not that they're not. There are experts who are doctors, who are PhDs, who are preaching the knowledge they have gained with their years of experience. So definitely find people who are giving the real advices.
I love that. And I have so many things that I could go from there because I think the work that you do it intersects with so many parts of life. People get overwhelmed trying to do the right thing. In my work, do we focus on updating your project management software? Do we focus on your SOPs? Do we focus on your team community? Every client needs to start somewhere different, but they all need core pillars of a successful, efficient business. And so with nutrition, we talked about the different types of food, the amounts of food, the makeup of your plate, getting adequate protein. I know hydration, there's other things. I know a lot of people who don't improve their health because they don't know where to start. How do you suggest people incorporate one thing at a time? Do you say everybody should start with water and sleep? What do you say is a good strategy for implementing these positive behaviors in a way that's digestible?
It is
Yeah.
overwhelming, as I said, even for myself, because I do keep up my self upgraded by reading latest researches that's happening in this space, and it's a lot of
Yeah.
information out there. Everything is good, everything is bad.
Yeah.
One advice that I give to myself or my clients would be find that one thing that you would subconsciously, without thinking, do for your next 90 days. It could be
Mm.
that one habit or one change that you yourself is consistent for your next 90 days, not consciously thinking about that, oh, I have to add this to my schedule, I have to add this to my day. Like I have to think about
Yeah.
it. So something that would is easier is come as hydration, as you said. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
drinking water is the easiest thing, like you don't have to consciously think about it. Building that habit for your next 90 days is just great. You don't have to like
Yeah.
think about eating right protein, right carbohydrate, right fats, or calculate your meal
Yeah.
because it's just food at the end of the day that's making you happy. Find that one thing that you would be sticking to your next 90 days. It could be drinking water maybe after every 2 hours before your meal or after your meal, making your breakfast, making your coffee, adding good healthy fats in the morning could be your next 90 days routine. So maybe just stick to
Yeah.
one thing and build that routine, build that discipline. So it gets into your body, into your schedule. It's very easy for your habitual after 90 days. It could start with building 21 days routine and lead to 90 days because your body requires at least 90 days to get habitual to any new things happening. You can't suddenly start eating healthy and expect your body to show results after a week. That
Yeah.
give your body that love, that time that you would give to your work as well. Because we've taken education for 12, 13 years and then we are
Right.
working out in the corporate world. So why do you expect your body to just do right thing for 10 days and then give the results? Give that time to your body as well. It will show results for sure. Yeah, this one thing that I stick to every time.
Thank you. I love that. And it has me thinking about something that's been on my mind nonstop lately is that the more technology advances and the more we all have access to awesome amounts of information, I find us going back to things we already knew, going back to things that have been a part of human behavior prior
Yes.
to all this technology. I have a colleague who's was doing research about the forest advocacy group advocating for trees to remain in the
Mm,
ground. We love that for multiple reasons. When she was doing research on this topic, what came up was that a new, small but growing trend in this industry is Indigenous stewardship, which we all know Indigenous stewardship in the environment. Most people know that's what we need for the environment to get better,
yes, yes.
but now it's like a emerging new trend in the and it just breaks my brain sometimes because with nutrition, I feel like when I was growing up in the early 2000s, everything was medical. How many supplements can I take? What's
Yeah.
this new modified corn that's better for me? We went so hard trying to hack the environment, and now I realize it should be healthy, whole foods, and it should kind and it's like I don't know. I would
Yeah.
love to know your opinion as someone who works in the field. I do think a lot of what we discover is that we have a lot of what we need already, and then there's just small tweaks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I would love
Yeah,
your opinion on
yeah.
just that idea.
That's a very interesting take, and I also think about it a lot. Now
Yeah.
people have grown interest having organic food. Over the years, as a human, we did all the genetic modified crops in agriculture. We tried to make food
Yeah.
more available, like diversely on global level. If I have this one specific fruit over here, I would find it in Europe as well. As a technology, we really started this trend, and now we're going back to the roots. Like, stick to seasonals, stick to what is growing into
Yeah.
your city, eat natural organic food rather than all the pesticides and fertilizers added to the crop. I have something that I've gathered with this information. AI is
Yeah,
making a
sure.
lot of changes in a lot of industries, not just engineering or finance. In health
Hmm.
itself, AI is coming into picture, the
Yes.
brain. But who's the
Talk
actual
about
brain
it.
behind the AI? It's the humans, right? People would now realize that at the end of the day, the traditions we have had over the years are the actual
Yeah.
things that would give you the life that you want for sustaining it.
Yeah.
Technologies would always come and go, but the roots from your ancient culture are the real things. These are the ones that build the current technology as well. I think
Yeah.
it's a very vast thing. I believe that traditions, cultures, ancient Ayurvedic health benefits, and health space is still the one that gives you the sustaining health journey for your life. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember a couple years ago, it was around the time that COVID hit, people suddenly learned what blue zones were. I already knew about those because I watch a lot of documentaries. These very European, Western white people are traveling to all these places and analyzing it like a science experiment. They're like, oh, they eat legumes. And they try to make this clinical prescription of a diet.
Yeah.
It's just so funny to me because people live in different climates, conditions,
Yes.
elevations.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the health advice is so, if everyone does this one thing, it's perfect. That's what you need to do. And I think we're missing nuance too. How do you encourage people to access that nuance and actually find the things that are good for them?
With my years of experience, I've practiced in India. I've also practiced in London. Being in two different countries, I now understand that something staple in Asian culture is not a staple
Mm-hmm.
food for a European culture or an English culture. You as a human come from your genes, from your culture that comes in. So if I migrated as an Asian to an European country, it would take me years to get acclimatized to that culture, to that food. My body
Yeah.
would be taking its time to adjust to that. And I
Mm-hmm.
innately would still go back to my Asian foods if I'm still living there. The weather conditions you pointed, definitely that affects a lot. The weather conditions,
Yeah.
your food environment, your living conditions, that affects a lot. What I now advise to clients, because I do have global clients as well, see where you're going to stay or live for your next 3 years of your life, which city, which
Mm.
what country. Get to know the local foods, the local fruits, vegetables, the local dishes that is culturally available there, and consume that. Because you're in that living condition and your body is now getting adapted to that. If you do not eat what is required in that condition, you are
Mm.
doing a false thing for your body. So if when I was living in
Yeah.
London, if I stick to my Asian food, I would not be able to survive there because I would be struggling to find the fruits and vegetables that I get back home. The spices,
Yeah.
the cooking methods are different, the cooking techniques are different. So if I stick
Yeah.
to doing that when I was living in London, I wouldn't be able to survive. And that's where there
Mm.
comes the theme of surviving wherever you are. So you have to get adapted to your
Yeah.
environment. You have to get adapted to where you're living.
I've never thought about it that way. That makes
and
so
and
much sense.
and that's how your body
Yeah.
adapts. To be fair, your body is very smart. You don't have to consciously. Actually, I was amazed to think that I would not be able to enjoy different foods and different cuisines. It's very easy and simple. It just gets adapted. You just have to give it what is right in front of you and not think about what you can't get very
Yeah.
easily. So that's how it is. I think our body is really smart. We really make
Yeah.
it complicated, but if you listen to what our body says, our gut says, it's always right.
I feel like with you being on the brain side of things and going into brain and gut health, I found it so fascinating. A lot of people in my family have passed away from Alzheimer's. So when I was younger, I was like, I can't get it. I went down all the rabbit holes, and what do
Mm.
I do? And I found it so interesting that when people started actually recognizing, because I was getting my psychology degree when the gut health
Wow.
thing became a thing, and we were like, oh, you
Mm.
have nerves in your gut. We started
Mm.
learning about the nuance, and it had been a while since we'd gotten new anatomical science.
Yeah.
I don't even think this is a question. It ties back to what we just talked about, the
Mm.
ancient wisdom, the things that have been
Mm.
passed down to us through culture that get lost in the industrial
Yes.
side of
Yes.
the world, because following your gut is a thing, and now it's
Yes.
scientifically backed.
Yeah.
Before it was like, oh, you're just superstitious or overconfident. And
Mm.
now it's no, no, literally in 5 years, they're going to be like, okay, to survive until you're 90, you need to have dinner with your family every day. Like, I feel like that's where we're
That's
headed.
the reality. I've experienced eating alone is not great for your health. I enjoy my meals if I'm with a friend or family. And if I'm eating alone,
Yeah.
I'm just sad. Even if it's my favorite dish, I'm just like, no, that's not fun. I need eat food with people around to make it more engaging and
Yeah.
socially good for me. Having
Yeah.
dinner with your family is the best health advice.
I'm still doing it and they do that. I will bring you on to be like, guys,
We predicted the future. Yeah.
shocking. No, I appreciate your expertise. I appreciate just your openness. I feel like sometimes when you are a professional in a particular field that people have lots of polarizing opinions about, it
Mm.
can be really hard to advocate for what you need and what your clients need and what you know is helpful, the work that you
Yeah.
know is important. And so I appreciate that. It's hard to show up in
Thank
that
you.
way. And I want to take away, of course, I want to take away a lesson from this. I love to give the
Hmm.
readers a lesson in my newsletter and the listeners the same
Wow.
thing on the podcast. So my lesson that I gained from this conversation, there's several, but I think the main was to take your time. I think just
Yeah.
from your demeanor to your point about you're not going to lose weight in 7 days to just the whole idea of calming down, being rational, looking at the options. I think taking your time is the big lesson that I'm
Yes.
pulling from this. So, do you have an actionable step that listeners can do when they leave this episode and they're feeling inspired, right? What's something they can actually do to start working towards that goal and to start being more mindful and
Yeah.
methodical and slow with those things?
I'll circle back to the thing that I said earlier in the conversation was sticking to that one habit. Find
Mm,
yourself that one new challenge or habit to introduce into your schedule and stick to it for 90 days. Doing this over the time, you would build a health discipline which is
mhm.
great for your body and you would recognize it. Everyone can say, okay, do this 10 things, do this 15 things. I could say as well, I could advise you to do these things, but
Yeah.
I have understand from my years of experience that people would only do or stick doing that they would actually enjoy for themselves. So me giving
Yeah.
you 10 things to do, okay, you would do it for a week, 3 weeks, a
Hmm.
month. But if you're not enjoying yourself, I it's hard to stick to those things. So you have to find yourself that one new habit that you would introduce for yourself. You would tell yourself that, okay, I'm sticking to this for my next 90 days, no negotiation around it because I have said it for myself. It could be
Yeah.
just, as I said, start drinking 3 to 4 liters a day. Develop that self confidence once you start doing things that you've said for yourself. That's the most powerful thing you could do to stick to your rituals. If you say you're going to drink this amount of water in a day, be consistent. Then you will
Yeah.
say, oh, I did that. I achieved that. And that's the self accomplishment that a person would feel and would naturally get habitual to that new health habit. The takeaway that I would give, stick to that one new habit that you want to introduce, follow it for 90 days, no negotiations,
Hmm.
and you would be the most self confident person in your health journey.
I love that. I am on a health journey myself, so that's why it was so fun to have you on. I was very sick. I was quite
Oh,
heavy for what my body can handle, and I had to learn that slow approach, and it was arduous to learn that lesson. I still have a lot of room to grow, but I
yes.
appreciate the things you shared. At some point, I'm gonna just come get your I know
Please,
I
I'm happy
support. So
to always
yeah,
help you if you're ever struggling or just text away, just because we are now LinkedIn buddies,
yeah,
I'd say.
I
And
love
this,
that.
yeah.
I have two things.
Mm.
Bear with me. The first is the theme of season one is family values. And what I want to kind of reclaim is our families really shape, and whether it's the family you're born into, your chosen family, they shape how we move through the world. In my life, people at this point, if they listen to every episode, know we really value honesty in the household, because I can't help you if I don't know what's
Yes.
happening. I can't have your back if you're lying to me. Do you have a value from your family that you carry into your work every day that helps you serve your clients better?
I think one value that I personally believe is sticking to your friends and family in good or bad. And I have myself experienced those relations in my life. Sticking with someone in good times is always easier, but sticking with someone in bad times is difficult and
Mm,
challenging. I cherish that moment. When I'm going through something bad in my life, I would want my friends and family to be my support system, and I would do the same. I think this
yeah,
builds the trust, the love, the support system around you when you need it most. So I think this is the one value, that sticking to good and bad, regardless,
yeah.
no judgment. They're your friend, they're your family, and you're with them.
I love that. See it through. I think you
Yeah.
can apply that at work. I've worked at companies where when someone's having a bad day, they're just the worst to be around. But on their good day, they're so brilliant. And when you show
Yes.
up for them the same every
Yes.
day, you normally hit the goals you need to hit. Thank you for your time here today. For
Thank
anyone
you.
who feels called to connect with you, where can people find you? Where do you want them to reach out? How do they get more of you if they want to follow your information or reach out for your services?
LinkedIn. I am very much
Okay.
active. I met my current work partner
Yeah.
through LinkedIn. We met on
Love it.
LinkedIn, we chatted, and there was like, oh, okay, let's start this together. So definitely LinkedIn is a blessing for me. I would say
Hmm.
reach out. I'm always available for a chat, for a call, anything that you would need an advice on. I'm always available to talk because I cherish conversations like this. I love having these
Same.
conversations with people so they feel empowered and they could take control of their health by themselves, because I am the person who would be with you for a month or a day, but you are with yourself for whole of your life. Whatever thing that I would say would be able to empower yourself for a longer time. I would take a minute to appreciate this conversation, because I think for the past couple of days I was so much into work. I wasn't much active
Hmm.
on LinkedIn, but this conversation is now giving me that empowerment and motivation to come back on the
Yay.
platform, reaching out to people again and having this conversation. And definitely the work that you do, Anna, is really great. I
Yeah.
love seeing your posts, and this is actually one of my manifestation goal, recording a podcast. It was there on my vision
I'm
board for
happy to help you do it.
2025. I had no plans. Subconsciously, I was
For
thinking
the
about
record,
it.
to anyone listening, she didn't ask me. Like,
No,
I read this article you wrote about bees,
yeah,
and I need to
yeah.
have a conversation with you
I'd
about the
share the
podcast.
vision board with you if you'd want. I also believe in manifestation and visualization, and this
Yeah.
happened. So you, my lucky charmer, I could say, Anna, that made it happen. So thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
You're so lovely. I appreciate you, the listeners. I think it's going to be a nice, big episode. My professional people need to focus on their health, so I'm excited to push
Yes.
this one out. And we will see you guys next week on Tuesday. Bye, everybody.
Perfect. Bye.